بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والشكر لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. This is the first video of a series of videos where I intend to present reviews of books in the Deen. So inshallah, bi'idhnillah, I intend to come up with a series of videos where in a given video, I'll pick a particular book or two and review the work and give a summary of it, inshallah. So let's jump straight into the first book that I've planned for this video. The book for this video is حاشية على الخمسون في أصول الدين. As you can see from the title, this is a commentary on a smaller text. And the smaller text is called al-Khamsun fi Usul al-Din. The author of al-Khamsun fi Usul al-Din is Imam Fakhr al-Razi, rahmatullahi alayh. So al-Khamsun fi Usul al-Din, which translates to 50 in the foundations of the religion, was authored by the great classical Sunni and Ash'ari theologian al-Imam Fakhr al-Razi. While the commentator on this text is Sheikh Sa'id Fawda, Hafidhahullah, who is a contemporary Ash'ari theologian, Ash'ari mutakallim. So this is the first work that we're going to be looking at, حاشية على الخمسون في أصول الدين, a super commentary or a commentary on 50 topics in the foundation of the religion or in Islamic theology. You know, Islamic theology has different names in Arabic. You have usul al-din, which literally translates to the foundations of the religion, or another name for Islamic theology is ilm al-kalam or al-aqidah, and many other names. So this is the work, inshallah, that we'll be looking at, a work authored by Imam Fakhr al-Razi, which has been edited and explained by Sheikh Sa'id Fawda. So let's first look at the table of content. Normally, Arabic books have the table of contents at the end of the book. Yeah, because normally in an English book, you just need to turn a few pages after the book cover to get the table of contents. But for Arabic Islamic books, in general, you'll find that the table of contents is at the back of the book and not right after the book cover. Yes. So let's look at the table of content. So we can see that Sheikh Sa'id Fawda mentions the manuscripts that he used in coming up or in reconstructing Imam Fakhr al-Razi's work al-Khamsun fi Usul al-Din. And you also see that Sheikh Sa'id Fawda has given a brief biography of the great al-Razi. Now let's see the topics covered in this book. As you can notice in the title of the book, al-Khamsun fi Usul al-Din, Imam Fakhr al-Razi selected 50 important masail, 50 important topics in Aqidah, in Islamic theology. And what he does is that in each one of those topics or in each one of those issues, he presents the view that he subscribes to and follows it up with a overview of the rational and the revelatory evidences for the view that he selected. So for example, the first mas'ala, the first matter is في حدوث العالم, in the temporality of the universe, or that the universe had a beginning to its existence. And then the second mas'ala is in affirming knowledge of the Creator, that we can come to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Or in other words, in this chapter or in this topic or this matter, he presents arguments for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's existence. Yes, and then there are many more masail, but one thing you will notice is that from the first chapter or from the first matter to the 39th matter or chapter, they are all about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. في أنه سبحانه وتعالى واجب الصدق. So we see that most of the work is about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's about al-ilahiyat. 39 out of the 50 masail are about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, while the rest are about nubuwat, about anbiya, the anbiya, the prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and also as-sam'iyat. And about al-imama, which normally comes at the end of the books of Aqidah. Yes, so what I would like us to do is at least cover 2 masail. So I'll select في إثبات العلم بالصانع سبحانه وتعالى, and we'll also look at في نبوة نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. So page 207 and page 72 or 82, page 82. Yes, so in the second mas'ala, the second chapter, he presents arguments for the existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I'd like us to quickly look at the first 2. So he starts by al-hujjatul ula, the first evidence or the first piece of evidence or the first argument. أنه لما ثبت أن العالم ما كان موجودا ثم صار موجودا فحقيقة العالم قابلة للعدم وقابلة للوجود. Then he goes on فثبت أن وجود العالم محتاج إلى الموجد المؤثر. In this argument, he's basically presenting what has been popularly known today as the Kalam cosmological argument. The Kalam cosmological argument. And that's an argument that has been popularized by the Christian philosopher and theologian William Lane Craig. Now the Kalam cosmological argument is what in our Turath, in our tradition, would be described as Burhanul Huduth, the argument from temporality, that they argue for the existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the fact that the universe had a beginning to its existence. Yes. However, within our tradition, within our theological tradition, there are many more arguments for the existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. However, today when you say the Kalam cosmological argument, and Kalam coming from Ilm al-Kalam, they automatically ascribe that to or associate that to what we would describe as Burhan al-Huduth, the argument from temporality, not the other arguments like Burhan al-Itqan or Burhan al-Imkan, or the other arguments that our theologians have presented. Yeah, and also when we look at the second argument, وهي أنه لا شك في وجود الموجودات فنقول جميع الموجودات إما واجبة الوجود أو ممكنة الوجود أو البعض ممكنا والبعض واجبا. And I believe this argument was first articulated by Sheikh Ibn Sina and is what today would be described as the contingency argument. And the Kalam cosmological argument and the contingency argument are seen as some of the strongest arguments for the existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in contemporary philosophy of religion. Yeah, these are some of the strongest arguments, or some of the most convincing arguments. Yes. And then there's more that the Imam presents. And some of the chapters aren't long. Like this chapter over here, في أنه سبحانه وتعالى قديم أزلي. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is an eternal or has no beginning to his existence. And you can see that it's just 2 pages and arguably just 1 page. You could easily fit this in here. Yeah, so let's move on to another section, the one that we previously said. المسألة الأربعون. So this is the 40th matter. في نبوة نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. In this chapter, the Imam presents arguments for affirming the prophethood of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we can go over the first one. الدليل عليه هو أن محمدا عليه السلام ادعى النبوة. So the Imam is presenting these arguments in the form of a syllogism. So one premise, then a second premise, then another premise, then its conclusion, a syllogism. And the first premise that he presents is that Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam claimed to be a prophet. وَأَظْهَرَ الْمُعْجِزَةَ عَلَى وِفْقِ دَعْوَاهِ, and that he manifested a miracle in accordance to his claim of prophethood. وَكُلُّ مَنْ كَانَ كَذَلِكَ فَهُوَ نَبِيٌّ. And whoever does that, i.e., whoever claims to be a prophet and presents or then shows a miracle to show the truthfulness of his claim, must be a prophet. Yes, so فَهُوَ نَبِيٌّ, and the natija is that Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam Nabiyullah. And then he goes on to explain each one of those premises. أما بيان أنه عليه السلام ادعى النبوة فهو ثابت بالتواتر والتواتر يوجب العلم القطعي. نعم. Yes. And in such a section, Sheikh Sa'id further gives a ample amount of explanation and commentary on what the Imam wrote, Imam Fakhr al-Razi wrote. Yes, so that brings me to the end of this book review, and I hope all the viewers will find it beneficial. آمين. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.